You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Let's go. A little bit. I wasn't, and now I'm sat here. I'm like, oh my god.
The best thing to do when someone is feeling nervous in any kind of situation is to actually point out, "Are you nervous?"
Yeah.
Right. It's
I feel so
to make you feel relaxed.
This is great. Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Great.
Hello and welcome to Camera Central Podcast. Here we get to talk to some incredible creators, and today we have Abbie Kyte. Earlier in the week, you would have seen the video that we did with Abbie Kyte, where we went down to Wentwood. I need to remember the names of places, and filmed her doing some pet photography, which was a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
Come in a little bit closer.
Sorry. Haven't done this before, guys.
No, don't worry about it. So yeah, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us everything about Abbie Kyte.
Oh God, okay. So hi, I'm Abbie Kyte. I'm a pet photographer from South Wales. I do mainly dogs and horses. And yeah.
Yeah, radical. So yeah, you do mainly pet photography and you've actually taken a photo of a ferret before as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more pet and equine photography. And equine photography is a very smart sounding thing, isn't it? Yes. It's very cool.
Very elegant. I love that. I'm an equine photographer.
I'm an equine photographer. Hence why I'm superior.
No.
No.
I don't think that.
No, but it must be a very interesting field, especially with everything that kind of goes on around equine photography, I guess.
Yes, no, it's amazing. I love it. I do mainly portraits with equine. There's so many other things you can do. So like actual like event photography, that's like huge on the equine scene. Like people going to shows, buying sports photography basically. But what I like to do is the portraits, and especially with like people and their horses as well. I really enjoy getting that connection because I think it's easy when you've got a pet dog. You've got your phone. You can always take. Everyone's like, oh, I've got my camera all on my phone is filled with pictures of my dog. But it's harder with horses to get both of you in it and like riding in that actual genuine connection, which is what I particularly enjoy capturing for people. Well,
I feel like a big part of that kind of photography is when it comes to animals. I feel like people have like another kind of connection because you have human connection and all that, but with animals, because it's a much kind of more basic kind of like affection that you can have for these animals. I think it ends up bringing out different kinds of emotion because I've got people in my family that own horses and stuff like that, and it's like you end up building a character and building a kind of will around your pets essentially. And I think that's an interesting kind of area to photograph. My brain just went there to take photos of.
Yeah, it's just like an unconditional bond, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's mad because they're always so happy to see you, and things like that, whereas people would be like,
this other human, what are you doing there?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just that it's such a special connection. You can't really, it's hard to put it into words though, isn't it? Like they're just not here long enough either. And I think that's the thing, and that's so important to capture.
Well, I think one of the like most emotional comics I think I've ever looked through is where it's talking about like this long generation of like a dog family talking about their immortal owner, and it's just like,
oh my god,
because from their perspective they're like getting emotional. It's okay. But 100%, I think pets end up becoming a part of the family. And I think for people that are into having pets, I think it's something that kind of binds the family together in a different kind of way, I guess, which is really interesting. And of course, the taking photos of them is amazing. And I also didn't realise that fine art equine photography was actually a thing before you said.
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge. No, because I saw a photo of yours. We'll bring it up actually. Oh, look at this! I'm prepared. And it's this one here, and putting gold leaf on the horse. I wouldn't have ever really thought about, but it's
not my original idea, no. But it is done quite a lot in equine things. So this style is black background, so it looks like a studio, but that's actually shot 100% in natural lighting.
Okay.
So I think if you switch it to the next slide and you'll see the before. So you can see here what I've done. So this is actually shot in like a stable door. This is Remy. He's a gorgeous horse. He's a dressage horse. And I really wanted to use a grey to try this on. And because I just felt it really brought the gold leaf out. And what you can see on his head is a special photo head collar. So this isn't like a standard thing that you'd usually put on a horse, but it's very thin, makes it for my life much easier to edit out and things like that. But yeah, it's just, I just find horses so beautiful. They're such gorgeous creatures, and I've always been drawn to them. Just their beauty.
They're absolutely stunning, and it's in terms of like. When you think about animals as a whole, and you think of what like the structure of a horse and stuff like that, it's kind of a little bit out of place compared to a lot of things, but they are so beautiful, 100%.
And they've been, well, we've been using them for hundreds
and hundreds of years. Yeah, no, really cool photo.
Yeah, thank you. No, I love that one. So yeah, gold leaf putting onto a horse. So yeah, it's not edited in afterwards. This is literally using the gold flake that you see you buy, like lots of artists use them. You can do like mixed media, you know, lots of photographers have been doing that recently, where you like take a photo, put the gold leaf on, and it was like, oh, just stick it straight on the horse and see what happens.
Just put it on, see what happens. But
yeah, very safe. It was just stuck on with Vaseline, and that was it.
Oh, fair enough. I'll tell you what, you're probably the best one to talk to you about this. Is there any other photos you want to go over here?
Oh, okay. A little scroll down.
Also, I recognise this little dude.
Oh, yes, that's Storm. So this is actually an older photo. This is about 2 years old now. This was on a workshop I did with Sean a little while ago. And Storm is such a talented dog. I mean, you met him. It's just insane what this dog can do.
Absolute beauty.
And he's lovely as well. So I wouldn't usually put scarves on animals, but Storm is trained and he's very used to that. And we really wanted like an autumnal kind of scene, and we're at that season. It's my favourite season. I mean, orange.
Orange,
it's kind of the brand. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so this was just discussing what we did in the video with the tips and tricks, where you've got like the background blurred, foreground blurred, and just brings the focus on the subject, and then you're at the eye height and he's nice and sharp in his eyes and you've got that connection. But yeah,
it's a really awesome photo. I like it.
Thank you.
And he is an absolutely wonderful dog. Of course, you did say he's trained, and you work with a lot of dogs that aren't necessarily trained. So how difficult do you find that? Or
so this is the part I love the most about my photography and shooting pets and other people's animals. Like all their personalities are totally different, and I do get a lot of people come to me and be like, I don't think my dog's going to behave on the day. Like I'm not confident, and like they're a bit reactive with other dogs and things like that. So there's lots of different things I can do, and mainly it is whatever your dog's personality, I will shoot for that. If things don't go well on the day, or like you've got to be adaptable. You've got to be able to make sure that it is the dog or the pet's needs that are number one priority to get these shots. But yeah, most of them are pets. They might do a sit, which is great. If they don't want to, like if you think they're going to bugger off at some point, I keep a lot of the dogs on the lead. And particularly if we scroll down, and I'll show you. So this spaniel shot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they were, this is actually two separate photos put together. So they were running about, and we didn't have much sit and stay.
So is this on a tripod that you've set this up? Or
no, it's all just handheld.
So it'll be two drastically different shots that you've mixed together there.
Well, in the same kind of area, I can't remember which dog I think it was the one on the left here was the one that I actually put into this particular image. And
well, you mixed it really well, so your Photoshop skills are clearly on point. Is that something that you knew about? Because you did say you went to university, or was it university?
Yeah, so I did it BTEC here in Wales. What's the college now? This is awful. I'm so sorry. Cross Keys College. That's the one many a year ago.
Oh no, it's one of those things. It's quite hard because the college that I went to and the university I went to both changed their names. So like even my certificate that I got, I don't actually know if it actually makes sense, because I think it's for a university that stopped being called that 2 years prior, because when the certificates you get are for the university which you start with. Not what it becomes.
Oh God.
So that was an experience.
I'll show you, if we go on to one of the other photos, I'll kind of show you like the way that my editing's changed. If we scroll down a bit.
Bit more?
That one.
Oh, hello.
So this is a great before and after. So this is the fine art equine photography that I love. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you the before.
Damn.
So
that's a lot of work, but it looks stunning. I mean, you're kind of going for like a pastel kind of painting kind of
yeah,
feel.
so textured backgrounds, I love. They're gorgeous. You can like make your own, and it just suits horse photography particularly so much. But yeah, as you can see, you just kind of
so your Photoshop skills are like on
I mean,
point.
we're getting there. Like it's always learning.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. That's part of a personal project that I'm doing at the moment, here and there, about the wild ponies of Wales.
Okay.
So it's more of like a documentary. This is me trying to do something a little bit different to my normal portrait-y style. Like this is like the art. This is the kind of stuff I want to get into a bit more, and try and sell some prints. That would be nice.
I'll link it in down below. That's fine.
Yeah, send me a DM.
Send me a DM.
Slide in the DMs. But yeah, this is a more of a documentary style for me.
Yeah.
And shooting, black and white, because everything I do is colour, and it's just wanted to do something different and get a bit more nitty gritty. But what inspired that project? I've got 2 rescue ponies myself, Summer and Eve, and I got them from Welsh Pony Rescue a couple of years ago. And they came from this common, Gair common. I hope I've said that right and haven't absolutely murdered the pronunciation on that. But there's hundreds of ponies on there, and it's just commons. And they used to have ponies were just dumped there by all sorts of people, and the population kind of went a bit out of control. And there are charities that are trying to help these ponies and stuff, and it's lovely going up there. If you're ever in the area, go visit them. But yeah, it's
Where is it again, sorry?
Gair. So kind of
might actually be quite interesting to head out there sometime.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous, absolutely stunning, and like a rugged landscape. And these Welsh ponies are actually the most ancient native breed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just something I'm trying to look into, do a bit of a documentary project.
Yeah.
We're in the works.
We're in the works.
It's going to take a couple years, I think, to get there.
As well.
But yeah, that's another example of the Photoshop from.
It's a mother freaking unicorn.
Yeah, love a bit of text.
Where did you see a unicorn?
Yeah.
This is going to be the real now. That's awesome.
But yeah, but I mean, editing's something that I've only really got into when I started doing pet photography, because it was, when I went into pet photography, it felt like I was a total beginner again.
Yeah.
Because before I used to want to be fashion and beauty photographer of the world when I was studying.
Yeah.
And after uni, I lost my spark for photography. I'm not going to lie, I did kind of give up for a couple of years.
And I think that's actually an interesting kind of crossover here as well, because I started doing photography when it came to creativity in general from a very young age, like 4, 5, 6, whatever. But I consider myself these days a videographer, and very much like yourself, I lost the spark for doing photo, or even considering myself a photographer. I know that's a weird thing to say, since I run a YouTube channel based on photography and videography, but it's something that I've become much more passionate about recently, and I think it's something that can always be reignited at some point if you want it to, and maybe we challenge you with something along those lines. That might be interesting. But I think what I've found recently from doing this YouTube channel especially is I've really enjoyed taking the shot and focusing on a frame rather than multiple frames, and the movement of what I'm essentially creating, and that's a really interesting story. Sorry.
Yeah, that's amazing, but it is, and I didn't get my spark back until I started working with animals professionally. So after uni, I ended up doing bar work. Ran a bar, ran a nightclub kind of thing.
Oh,
it
nice.
was this is not what I want to do, and I kind of took a bit of a gap year job that turned into a couple of years and worked at dog kennels. And that's how I kind of got into dog behavior and things like that, and all the different kind of characters. And then I got my dog, and then I was like, oh, he's stunning, bless him, and I just picked up my camera again, and then it just was like, this is what I was supposed to do. This was like, whereas before it was like doing photography, I felt like I had to be that fashion photographer. I had to like go and get all these like magazine front covers, and it was just like, am I actually passionate about this? You know, it's like, am I being pressured by what everyone else around me is doing and what I should, you know, what's cool, what's this, and it wasn't me. And now I've kind of found this is my niche. And sometimes some people can straight away, like, I know what I want to photograph, and they're brilliant at it, and they're very natural photographers. And I wouldn't say I'm a natural photographer at all, especially when I went into the pet stuff, just thinking, oh, you know, I used to do photography, I can take a decent picture of a dog. No, I couldn't. Like, really, at all. And it's taken years to get to the point where I am now, but then that pushed my editing and being like, right, I need to complement everything together.
That's really interesting. In the last podcast, which hasn't been released but will be released by the time this comes out, I spoke to a photographer called Jess Rose, and what was interesting for her, because she's just finishing up a PhD and she teaches film studies, I believe, but what she was saying when she talks to her students is that she really tries to get them to figure out the why. And I think that's really important. So, like, why do you want to do photography? And it sounds like you found out your why, and I think that's why you've ended up enjoying and being a part of this kind of like creative community. A lot.
Yeah, that's so good. I wish they'd kind of said that to me in uni, because I didn't know what the
No,
heck
it's a really good idea, and I think when it comes to photography and like arts in university and education and stuff like that, I think a lot of people choose it for a reason which I don't think helps, and that's, oh, this is going to be easy to get a grade out of. I don't know, it's just a random fly. It's going to be in like 4K, so it's just like great. It's just
Sorry,
like us
everyone.
looking at no. But I think it's actually something really interesting to think about, especially if you're looking to be a creative, is to figure out your why and what interests you when it comes to photography, just in general. And like yourself, you've figured out the why. Now you need to figure, what's the letter after Y? I should know. We're going to change the subject, but 100%.
And I think as well, with like almost like documentary photographers, it doesn't necessarily have to be something you know, but you're looking at it from a different point of view. And that's what makes it quite interesting. Whereas what I do, I have to know what I'm photographing for it to look good for me. So
that's what I found out when we did the video the other day, the 101 on pet photography, which we filmed with you down Wentworth Forest. That I just remembered totally. But it was fascinating to see kind of like what you're doing to set up a shot, because I've worked with a lot of photographers, a lot of videographers over the years, but their methods are all different, and it's interesting to see it. And from all the bits like bringing along the hunting whistles and how you set up the shot, it was completely fascinating. There you go.
I wouldn't go down too much.
Also, this is just majestic.
Oh, bless him. Pad.
Yeah.
I love an action. I think that was the first action shot I actually did.
Yeah, because you don't see too much action stuff off of your page.
No, I do focus mainly on the portrait stuff, but my old setup as well. So I shot for many years on a Nikon D800. That's what took me through uni, and then I had it after, and obviously
Brilliant. It is a really good camera.
Brilliant camera, and I loved it to pieces. And then I had like Sigma 70 to 200 2.8.
Yeah.
But I really struggled. Really struggled with my action shots and stuff, and I'd be like Googling like on YouTube, why can't I nail an action shot with a dog? And then when you sold me the Sony A1, the Sony A1 and the 70 to 200 and that animal eye autofocus.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
Everything's easy.
Yeah, no. And like it was one of those, because I worked for a little while as a professional videographer, like 24/7. But I've always kind of come in and out of camera center, and I finally managed to convince them to do the YouTube. But like it was a time where it was a Sony day. You came in and you were like, "This is the needs." I was like, "I got a brilliant idea. You got a really good time to do it because it's a Sony day."
Yeah.
The Sony A1 and the 70 to 200 GM, which was a little bit of maybe a step up, because you didn't have anything
absolutely wasn't coming in for that one.
No, you
I
weren't.
can't remember the exact model that I came in for, but I'd saved up for, I think it was like 18 months, because I was like, I want a Sony, I'm gonna change. But that was purely not any hate on Nikon. I love Nikon. I've always shot on Nikon ever since I was 16, and I loved it. And it's always very scary to think about having to change systems, but Sony was a very easy change. Like when I got it, when I was actually coming down on Sony Day, actually holding it and taking it like out into the arcade and using it, and I was like, I can do this.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah, you massively upsold me.
I
it was
just a little
upsell.
bit. I upsold a lot of people that day. I think I sold 2 or 3 of them at the same day. But also they are really good cameras, and you know, just seeing your work these days. I'm not saying, you know, because you're shooting Sony, you're shooting better photos. But you've actually, you know,
it leveled me up. We're not going to be shy about it. I leveled up. Like if we go up a bit and see that nice little action shot, and then if we keep going to my bluebell ones, keep going. That one. Yeah. And then if you scroll across, this is probably like my favorite action shot that I've done. I look at Albie's little face. There's little ears.
There's sometimes with like certain things that just make you just like crawl up into yourself and just go, ah!
Even though I shot it and I've spent hours looking at this.
Like how are you able to edit photos like this? Like the reason it's not like I just find it physically hard, because every time I would look at the dog, I'd be like, can't focus, it's too cute. But it's very much like that.
But I do love it, and that's what I find so exciting and so fun about my particular niche. It's just like, ooh, as soon as you get that, and you just can't wait to show the client. And
so you only have at the moment a 70-200 and the A1. What's your next thing you're gonna get then?
Oh, I am looking at the 135. I would very much like that. The thing is, with the 70-200, it's such a versatile lens.
And this is why, because it's part of what's considered the holy trinity of lenses. So with that, you got the 16-35, the 24-70, and the 70-200. And the 70-200 is pretty much in most photographers' bags. Because of its versatility, and it can pretty much do anything you actually really need it to. And that's what I think.
Fantastic. I mean, great for action. Beautiful for portraits, and something I have to consider as well when I'm shooting dogs. They're smaller. Horses are quite large, and I have to be. The way horses are shaped, I have to be careful of distortion as well. So general rule is you don't want to go under like 135. Really? Otherwise, you know, the distortion, the warp, they look a bit off. You know?
That's fascinating.
So that's why if I went like for the next lens that I'd have would be a 135, and for me, I think that would be all I need. I mean, the 70-200 absolutely fine for me. I don't have to carry lots of lenses. I could literally just go with my camera around my neck and go where the wind takes us on a photo shoot, you know.
Fair enough. On the day we actually brought down the 200-600 as well. What did you, because that's way beyond the focal length you used to. What do you think about it?
I really enjoyed it. I couldn't believe as well on the Sony, the animal eye, it was still getting the dog, even though I can't even remember how far away he was, but looking, we could, you know, you couldn't see like the details and stuff. You just looked through that viewfinder and it was literally like, oh, here's the eye.
I can't wait to, because the cameras I was shooting on the day, the new cameras, the raw files haven't actually been accessible on Lightroom yet. So I haven't actually been able to edit the photos properly because I shot it in the wrong mode, color mode. So like the photos, I can't edit it without actually having access to the raw. So as soon as I have access to the raws, I'm going into it and just giving it a tweak, because I really enjoyed it. It was a new kind of aspect to it, and maybe it would be a good idea to actually do something on equine photography. If you want to actually see that, put a comment down below. Might actually be cool to do some stuff with the horses, perhaps go to a show or something. And
amazing. Definitely. It's very different, equine photography and general photography, like round here and stuff, like, because I've grown up with horses and stuff. I've been aware of equine photography and being a photographer, but it's such a different ball game, and it would be so interesting to do a workshop on it, so you can see. I mean, you saw with my halter, like my photo halter, and how I did the black background, whereas it looks studio, but that's all natural light. And it's very clever.
So what do you think about natural light opposed to kind of like using artificial light then?
So for me personally, because I'm working with animals, I have to be able to move around. I have to be able to like go with the flow with different locations because it feels like a walk. I would love to have a bit more control, which is what I'm thinking about getting a strobe today maybe. But natural light, you need to know how to work it and not just be like, oh, I need shade. You need to learn how to, you're not going to be able to pick. Sometimes you might be asked to do a job, you might, you know, be doing family photos, you're in harsh light and you have to learn how you're going to tackle that. And I think that's very, very important, and making the light work in your favor, because that's what it is. Like painting with light is photography. And but don't be lazy or scared of flash either. No. And you know, it's well, that's what it all is. It's all light.
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 Another one to go in the reel.
Yeah. But I do prefer the overcast days. Those are the best days because it's like a giant softbox in the sky.
I know. I do quite like overcast days, to be fair, but every now and then harsh light. But you got to be at like sunset to actually get like the truly like
golden
exceptional.
Hour. Oh, love a morning and love a sunset. Golden hour.
Quote right there. Quote from Abbie Kyte. Love a morning, love a sunset.
Which do you prefer?
Which do you prefer? In the comments down below.
No. Seriously, I think I do prefer morning golden hour.
Yeah.
The likeliness of me being up at that time.
I know. This is it. I've done a few shoots at what's it called? Sunrise, and it's like hard, especially when you've just done sunset as well, and like it's like the middle of like summer, so it's only like 2 hours sleep or whatever. It's just completely grueling. The other thing is you do get unbelievable, if you get the right sunrise and the right sunset, you do get an unbelievable light, and it's just incredible.
And I just love how you're never really going to know. You don't know. You have to be there.
That right there is going to be the audio to many things. You don't know. You have to be there. You can see it in like all of the TikToks now.
Oh, God, Viral audio trending.
Viral audio trending, which is perfect. Yeah, that's what we should do with Camera Center to build up the social media following. It's just like, this is viral audio.
Yeah.
100%.
Click and save the audio.
Click and save the audio. So, do you see if there was like an origin to your photography? Was there an original passion to it before going to college or university? What got you in? What was the first thing that got you into taking a snap?
Okay, this is really going to show my age now. The early days of Facebook.
Okay, we're going to do a little cloud effect.
I remember, just on some rubbish laptop, that would overheat all the time. Just sat on your bed, trying to...
I think my first laptop actually burnt my legs.
Yeah, mine used to just overheat after 5 minutes all the time. It was a working MSN, Bebo, all that. Oh, I know,
MSN.
Cringe. Oh, I know.
I went back on my Flickr the other day. Do you remember Flickr? Did you use Flickr?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's from photos that are from a camera I don't even have anymore. It was like such a long time ago.
But yeah, I remember seeing some random I couldn't tell you who it was. I do still vividly remember the photo in my mind. It's like a black and white photo of like swans on a lake.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so sick. Oh, she's a photographer. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if I could do that. But this was also back in the day that we would all, go on nights out and stuff with our little pocket point and shoot cameras. Like, this is how long ago this was, and I would just be and try and be a photographer with this little camera. And then that was kind of how it started, and it was like you take photos of everything. And I did actually have a look recently on some of my very early work, which makes me feel sick how awful I was, but we all start somewhere. And
do you know what? I think it's important and almost vital for any kind of creator or photographer, videographer, whatever, to actually embrace their original work, because everyone has a start and everyone has a beginning, and seeing I'm just going to say it, the shit, is a good way for you to be able to realize how far you've come. Because a big part of kind of like social media and everything is that you end up trying to compare yourself to other people. And I think it's one of the things that just don't do it, because you have your own way of doing things, and if people are liking it, that's doesn't mean, it doesn't take away from the fact that you are a good photographer or you are a good creative. Everyone has a start. Everyone's bad at some point. There will be a point until you do it, and it's a big part of, like, you can't become a master of something straight away.
No.
And there's always going to be someone better. But as long as you're doing it with your heart and you're feeling what you're doing in the best way possible, I think that's the most important part for me anyway. But yeah. Cheesy. That was some Gorgonzola. I love a good.
You need some like inspirational music behind that, and then be like, it's not the destination. Yeah. It's the journey.
It's the journey. Yeah, I'm all about the journey, man. All about the journey.
It's so true though, and even like now, I feel like I'm not even like there, I just enjoy every single shoot and just getting better. And you could be the master and you're still going to learn things because technology is just getting better. I mean,
always.
And you've got to be so adaptable in photography now as well, with the way how fast things are moving. Like, Photoshop has changed so much in like 10, 15 years. It's insane.
Well, outside before we came in here, we were actually talking about AI, and like, I'd like to get your opinion on it. I've asked a few creatives now about it. It's kind of like, what do you think AI is affecting? Is it affecting your work, or do you reckon it's more of a tool to help you create better images? Like, what do you think?
I think I like it for the kind of clientele portraits and things I do. I don't think we should be using it for competition work, things like that, and like art, like actual, but at the same time, I think this is going to bring a huge revival on film. Yeah. So, that's 100%. Going one way.
And it's something that's come up a few times on this podcast, and I do think it's kind of, it's something really fascinating to talk about. Is kind of the advent of like old film coming back, because I think people are so kind of enamored and shown technology and the next biggest advancement, but film photography brings you back to a time and it grounds you. And I think this is what I find fascinating about film photography in particular, is because rather than a bunch of zeros and ones and zeros in a file that you can't physically hold, with film photography you've got something that you can hold, that you can feel.
It's just magic, isn't it? It's so hard to describe, but like when you do your first like print, or if you're in the darkroom and doing it yourself, and that's I'm so fortunate that when I started studying photography in college, we did have a darkroom for my first year. In the second year, they demolished it and put a Mac room in.
Devastating.
And like literally just Mac desktops, which was, it was so sad for us. It was so weird.
No, definitely.
And now, and it's going to go, I just like the thought of going back to that. And I have actually considered like doing that and shooting more film and doing Polaroid again, because it's been so long since I've done it. And it was just like, I used to hate it in uni mind. Like I'd be developing a roll of film, be like, my deadline's tomorrow, and I'd take it out the canvas and be like, it's a blank.
Do you know that Polaroid have actually introduced a new camera?
I've seen, and I am obsessed.
I love it. For it's £400. So what do you think in terms of like somebody, would you buy a £400 Polaroid camera? It's around that. It's expensive.
I think I would, if I had the money for it and I wasn't saving up for other kit like lighting and stuff, because it's not just like a physical, the thing and that's it. You can do so much mixed media with it. Have you seen where like they lift it up and do like things and you make it into art, and it's stunning. I'd love to experiment with it, and I think that is, so you can't edit it, like and it's just beautiful.
It's that, and it's instant, but physical. It's like, but with this particular one, I think it's like E1 or something, I don't know, something like that. But you actually have full functionality for like manual photography as well, which I like. I'm excited, but I want one. Yeah. I can't afford one, but I want one.
I'd love to try it out. I would really, really like that. And it's got the sharpest lens that they've ever made as well. And it's like, how
I think it's probably one of the only lenses they've made in a long time. Yeah. Because like usually it's like plastic lenses that they put into them, right? And this is actually a genuine glass element. I might be wrong there, in which I will put a little caption, but like this is a glass element, so it's designed to be sharp, and the photos from it are awesome. And kind of really want to have one.
Yeah, but would that take the magic away, having that much control from the whole Polaroid?
Ooh, that's an interesting kind of thing.
That's why I'd like to try it.
Yeah.
And compare it to an older one and see like what.
That's actually a really interesting point. So like what you're getting at really is, yeah, I never thought of it like that. I learned so much by doing these things. Like every podcast I've done, I feel like I've taken away and become just like a little bit smarter. I didn't start with much smarts anyway, so I'm actually becoming a normal person quite soon. But you know, it's actually really fascinating to hear. And that I never thought of it like that, because I was like, this is really awesome, but also, yeah, it might take the magic away, man.
But it would be nice to have the control.
It would be nice to have it.
I've
always thought that.
You don't want to.
Exactly, like especially the Polaroid film, because it is expensive to have, because it's 8 shots for like 20 quid, and then you look at the Fujifilm ones and it's like a lot cheaper. But there's something about a Polaroid that's just sick, innit? Yeah.
So yeah.
Any more photos you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the ferret. Because people have probably been looking at that like, what is that? So Bugsy. So this was a real challenge for me to photograph, because I'm used to photographing dogs and horses, which are quite large animals. Now Bugsy is a very, very special ferret.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine, Jade, she actually rescued him. She found him under a car.
Oh, really?
And she tried to find his owner. He wasn't chipped or whatever, and she ended up keeping him. So correct me if I'm wrong, Jade. I know he's getting on now. I don't know if he's 7 or 8. Maybe he's getting on, bless him. But she takes him on adventures.
Oh my God,
he's a proper adventure ferret. He's climbed Penny Van.
What?
I know. Yeah.
Did he get his master to climb Penny Van and he was just on the shoulder?
He's got pictures on the top. He was in the local paper as he's breaking records as a ferret.
I might be following.
Yeah, you have to have a little look. And that's my other photo of him that I took in the Bluebells.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
He's adorable. So everyone follow Bugsy, because the serotonin you get just from seeing his stories is enough.
That's going to be like the title. It's like pet photography, equine photography, and Bugsy the ferret.
And Bugsy the ferret. But yeah, so there you go.
Oh my days, that's just gorgeous.
But yeah, he walked around on a harness. He was actually off his harness for the shoot, which I was just like, and because he's so white, and I asked Jade, I was like, hey, look, can I borrow him for a photo shoot, please, in the Bluebells? And I can't get over how stunning the final images were from that. It was a real challenge, because even though he's older and everything, they're so fast, and they're constantly moving, and you've got the 70 to 200. Oh my God.
Following a small subject that quick,
There were more misses than hits on the focus, I'm afraid to say, that day. So it was a good challenge for me.
Oh, 100%.
And
to be fair, I don't know if it's something they would actually be able to train the camera to be able to see ferrets. I don't think it's...
No, I think they're too fast.
Yeah, they're too fast.
I mean, he was brilliant though. Amazing subject to shoot, and this is what I love about photography for me as well, and where it's taken me. I've made so many friends through it and met so many interesting characters, and I love hearing the stories of all these pets and how they find you. A lot of these like these rescue animals and things, and they've all got stories, and they mean a lot to people, and it's what we touched on earlier, like how deep that connection goes with our animals and stuff, and it's such an honor to be able to photograph that for people. And this is going to sound really weird now, but I love it when people cry when they see my pictures. I know that sounds bad, but happy tears.
I love it.
Having the power to do that is...
For me as a videographer, if someone's had a general emotional response to the video that I've created, that is the most important part to me.
Yeah.
It's why we try and be a little bit different when it comes to the reviews and stuff, because I want to add a little bit of, oh, this was funny, I'm laughing, but oh, this is sad. And we were talking about you possibly starting a YouTube, and it was something that I would genuinely try and help you to kind of do, because the story is the most important part of kind of creating video, but also photos as well, to be fair. And it's something I've enjoyed doing a little bit more recently, because there's been a few videos where I've gone for a bit more of a story focus to it, like the 200-500 video, and the other video you're in as well, the A7CR and the A7C2 video, where I'm trying to build out a story and build out these characters outside of the thing. But it's kind of off the subject of photography, but just kind of like talking about stuff.
It's all important though, isn't it?
Oh,
it's all images telling a story, whether that's moving or still.
Images telling a story.
Images tell a story.
This is what we should do. We should just like look at the camera, right, and just come up with a bunch of camera one, yeah, and we'll just come up with some like inspirational things.
Ooh, okay.
So like,
okay, what did we say?
Let's do the dead take on the images taking the story. Yeah,
we've got to say it at the same time.
Okay, ready?
Hang on, what was it?
Images telling a story.
Images tell a story.
Okay. Yeah. Images telling a story.
Wow.
Oh god.
You look like such assholes, don't you?
Yeah. This is what I feel like half the time when I do it, especially when I get like deep, because I like getting into like deep conversations, and like I will just end up sounding like a complete freaking toaster. I've never said
These
that.
are all going to be cut.
A complete toaster.
A 3-minute long video.
Well, maybe a bit more on subject then. Any advice that you would have for anybody looking to get into the industry in which you are part of?
Oh, pet photography. Okay.
Or just being a creative in general.
Being a creative, find what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But don't worry too much about it. Have fun. Like, that's the main thing.
Enjoy the journey, man.
Yeah, enjoy the journey.
Yeah, I think it's a big part of it.
Make mistakes.
Makes mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, just like how we all started on our own photography journeys. We just shot everything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. And we can go back on those images now and laugh. I can anyway.
Yeah.
Found my old DeviantArt account the other day and the cringe.
100%. Is there anything else you want to talk about today?
Not that I can.
I think we've gone over quite
a lot,
some
haven't we?
super awesome stuff, and it's been a genuine pleasure to have you down, Abbie, and look forward to doing some more work with you in the future, maybe, and give a little fist bump. Amazing. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe. If you got any ideas as to other people you want on the podcast, let us know. Also, if you want to do the Equine Photography 101 or workshop, might be an interesting thing that we can put together for you. Anyway, have a good day. My name's Stuart, and this is
Abbie Kyte,
and she can sell you some prints if you give her a good old
Insta.
DM. Follow you on Insta. Yeah, exactly. Under Abbie Kyte. It's really hard to find your actual name. Like, you've got Abbie Kyte, but I wanted to get like Furby DOP because it's what the guys here call me Furby because it's like a family nickname. But like actually getting your name as
I was lucky. I was early days of Instagram. This was my personal one, and I actually swapped it.
That's good because it's nice and short as well. My one's like long, so it's Stuart Lee Furbank. Anyway, have a good day.
Bye.
Perfect.
Yay! No problem. That was fun.
I didn't feel like I cut you off at the end there.
Oh no, not at all.
That's 42 minutes.
Jesus.